So Annika's
Does red
first.
mean record?
I almost wrote Mike.
Does red mean recording?
Yeah. Okay, great. Go for it, Annika.
Okay, you guys ready? Okay, so how are you guys doing today?
Good.
Good. Okay, well, according to AutismSpeaks.org, more children will be diagnosed with autism this year than with AIDS, diabetes, and cancer combined. So to narrow it down a little bit more, if everyone in this class has approximately 4 kids each, at least one of you will have a child with some form of autism. And that child is 4 times more likely to be male than female. I've been working with autistic kids now for about a year and a half. I worked with the less severe side of autism. I worked with the more severe side of autism. Today I'll be talking to you about the less severe side of autism, known as Asperger's. I'll discuss the signs and symptoms of Asperger's, as well as how it affects a child or adult in this world. Asperger's syndrome is a neurological disorder that makes it difficult to communicate and have social interaction. The sets of characteristics and condition were first identified by Austrian pediatrician Hans Asperger. People with Asperger's syndrome are usually just as smart as you and I. Their IQs fall within the normal range up to the superior range. They have mild, if any, delay in speaking, and they generally hit most of their milestones within reasonable time periods. According to the National Institute of Neurological Disorder and Stroke, children with Asperger's syndrome find it difficult to identify and express their feelings. They also have difficulty with sometimes finding it impossible or overwhelming to connect with others and don't hold very good eye contact with you. They have trouble reading other people's faces and gestures. Many kids will flap their hands, speak without much emotion, or have unusual speech patterns. They also need to follow schedules rigidly, or else they feel overwhelmed and out of control, and they get fixated on particular objects, things, or phrases. Okay, so social interaction. These kids are interacting with one another. It looks like they're counting or something. A child with Asperger's syndrome is probably going to sit back and not go and join that group. They're just going to sit in their corner and kind of just stay to themselves and be refined. If they do try to approach these kids, they might do it in a way that's not socially acceptable, that we don't find okay. The hand flapping. A lot of kids, and usually as they start to get older, it kind of phases out, but they get really fixated with their hands. They do a lot of like flapping like this with their hands on things, or they use their hands like this, and they stare at their hands sometimes too, and you just don't know what they're thinking about, but they just get fixated with it. Here is an example of something that a kid could get fixated with. It could be anything. So if it's a lion, if you mention the word lion or they see the picture lion, they get really excited and they just know so much about that object or thing or phrase that they sometimes can become an expert in it. Those with Asperger's syndrome often find adolescent years to be an overload of emotion, that they're just not sure what to do and just don't understand it. I interviewed a 19-year-old male with autism. He's had it his whole life. When asked about the conditions, he said, "I have felt trapped before, not quite inside my body, but inside the constraints of my brain. I have hated the way it has limited me in different areas, which all are affected by me socially." Some people with Asperger's, actually a lot of people with Asperger's syndrome, go through ups and downs of emotions. What makes them happy today won't make them happy tomorrow, or even an hour from now. It won't calm them anymore. It will just completely disrupt their train of thought and everything. Also, some people with Asperger's are unable to relate to their peers and other social rules. The boy I interviewed also said, "In social settings, most people simply interact with each other. For me, I analyze how to interact with everyone first and overthink it. Even though this boy is an adult and very smart because of his condition, he struggles more than others to interact. Today I've informed you about a less severe side of autism, also known as Asperger's. I explain the signs and symptoms of Asperger's as well as how it affects children and adults in this world. So what I would like you guys to get out of this is that Asperger's is such a severe and unpredictable disorder that no two kids with it are the same. They all kind of put their own spin on the disorder. And now I would like to leave you with a quote from the 19-year-old male that I interviewed. At first I wanted to overcome it as I had tried to overcome being set back socially from homeschooling. However, recently this has changed and I have felt like giving up on it and being who I am made to be.